Hey there guys, so in today's video, not something I expected to be making if I'm being honest, we got some Halo news. Now, what I've done, just before we get into the the nitty gritty, I've taken the footage from the actual video that Halo Studios, I was going to say 343, but now Halo Studios have put up. And at the end of the video, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that clip play, unmuted, completely unfiltered. If people want to just like listen in on that, I don't know if they do. I'll put a link to the video in the description as well, just so that's in there, and a link also to the where I'm going to get my information from. So essentially, without further ado, I guess, to be honest, we've had some surprise Halo news. Now, if you're a Halo fan, and I am a Halo fan, then this could be good or bad. It's kind of come out of the blue. I wasn't really keeping my ear to the ground about Halo anymore, to be honest. I played Halo Infinite. I did, for the most part, enjoy it, and then I kind of just dropped it after I did most of the achievements. I have one or two outstanding, but the battle passes just weren't enough to keep me invested. I know with these mini seasons, again, it's not really enough to keep me invested and coming back for more. I personally am just not that interested anymore. I was hoping for some campaign DLC, and that just never happened. So I kind of just, I guess I dropped the ball on it, and I do love Halo, but I'm not interested at the moment. Like I just fell out of love, I guess. I guess what I'm going to do is try and split this into mini segments. This is not going to be a super overly blown video. There's not loads of information we've got on this. I know about as much as you guys probably do. I just thought, as someone who does like Halo, and finally we've got some new Halo news, it would be nice to kind of cover it in this week's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So essentially, the major change that has happened, or there's two major changes really. So the first one is that Microsoft have essentially rebranded 343 have rebranded completely. So obviously we knew them as 343 Studios. Going forward, they will now be known as Halo Studio or Studios. So they are actually now renamed as the franchise they represent, Halo. Some people are not going to be happy about that. I know there's a lot of people in the Halo community that do really, really fundamentally disagree with Halo Studios, formerly known as 343, their handling of the franchise. A lot of people were very iffy about Halo 4. A lot of people did not like Halo 5, and even Halo Infinite in some cases was quite divisive. There were people that disliked that as well. Understandably, there are always going to be people that like and dislike games, but obviously a lot of people would, there are people that are adamant to this day that Bungie did it better. In some cases they're right, in some cases maybe there's room for discussion about that, and some people may disagree. Personally, I've enjoyed most of the Halo games I've played to varying degrees. I'm not going to go into that in depth in this video because that's not what we're here to talk about. Now, the other major change that they've made going forward that they have confirmed is that every Halo game going forward will now use Unreal Engine 5. If you didn't know, for Halo Infinite, they did make their own engine, which was the Slipspace engine. They built that from the ground up, and they did one game with it, and now going forward they're just going to swap to Unreal Engine 5. I don't know a lot about game development, if I'm being really honest with you. I know what engines are and things like that, obviously, but I don't know like the technicalities and everything. Now, I know Unreal Engine 5 is one of the best looking engines we've ever had. And maybe this could be a good thing. From the footage you're seeing at the moment, it does look visually stunning, and hopefully that takes some of the weight off of them as a studio using someone else's engine, because this time they're not building an engine from a ground up, and it's done for them, essentially. Hopefully that means there'll be more time spent on development for the next Halo game, or Halo games, I should say, as we'll get to that in a second. But essentially, yeah, out of nowhere, Microsoft basically came out and was like, yep, we're renaming the studio to Halo Studios now, and we're going to be using Unreal Engine 5 going forwards. They've also acknowledged, I suppose the handling of Halo as a franchise and how it's kind of taken a back seat, which is quite surprising because obviously those who've been Xbox fans for years will know that Halo is and is supposed to be a flagship title for Microsoft's console Xbox. and in the last couple of years, last decade really, if you want to be very severe about it, it kind of did take a back seat. No one, it's just not been as big as it once was. It's not been the big player that it used to be. So hopefully these, a change in engine maybe might make the difference. I don't personally think that is enough, but again, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to give the information that we've got. Moving forward into the next part of the video, you'll notice I said Halo games, not Halo game. So that's correct. In the announcement, we also got confirmation that obviously the future games are going to be made in Unreal Engine 5, but they've actually also come out and actually let us know that there are multiple new Halo games in the works at the moment using Unreal Engine. What the new games are, we don't know a lot. We know there's multiple new games. They haven't really let us know what they're going to be, if they're going to be remasters, if they're going to be sequels, prequels, spin-offs. We don't know. They haven't really said. It's also at the moment unknown if Microsoft is helping to develop these internally or not. We don't know a lot. All we know is that they are making new Halo games, but we don't know what they are. We don't know what they're going to be about. We don't know when they're going to be set. We have no information at all context-wise. We just had confirmation that there is going to be multiple new Halo games, and they are in development at this moment in time. There is a quote here from someone called Joe Scrabbles from Halo Studios. I'll just quote this because I'm going to source this in the video description anyway. Stated at the beginning of this new chapter, not the final stages, and he's confirmed that it's fair to say that a new Halo game is not imminent. So essentially we're in for another wait. Hopefully not as long as the wait it was between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, because that was a ridiculously long time between games. But he's come out and he has said to us, like, yeah, the games are in development, but they're not they're not coming anytime soon. So, get comfy, strap in for a little bit of a wait. So they are in development. It is exciting, Unreal Engine 5, but we're not getting them anytime soon. They're not right around the corner, so there's that. Moving on to actually talk about the current game, we just got some stuff about Halo Infinite as well. So they have come out and said, obviously, yep, there are new Halo games in development. Yep, we're going to be using Unreal Engine 5 going forward. Yep, we're rebranding the studio to Halo Studios. But what about Halo Infinite? Luckily, they've come out and they've confirmed they are going to continue to support Halo Infinite. So we are going to be getting additional operations. We're going to be getting new updates to Forge. Now, for me personally, that doesn't mean a lot because I'm not really the best forger, if I'm honest with you. But they are, for the people who love to forge, I'm sure this is really, really good news. And for the people who obviously enjoy Halo Infinite, having additional operations means more cosmetics, which means more stuff to work for, which, this is what you want, really. So that's good. It's nice to see that the current game isn't just being left to kind of fend for itself, I guess I would say. It's nice to see that they are going to continue to support Halo Infinite, even though there are multiple other games in development. Again, Microsoft isn't really saying a lot about the future games, but all they have shown off at the moment is an experimental prototype that's called Project Foundry. So it's not a new game, it's not a tech demo either, that's coming from Microsoft. They've said instead it aims to be a true reflection of what would be required for a new Halo game using Unreal and a training tool for how to get there. So that's a quote again, that's directly from Microsoft. They said the effort that went into creating Foundry amounted to the same rigor, process, and fidelity as a shipped game would be. Now, obviously, with the cutscenes and everything, and all the details and things you're seeing on screen, clearly that is Halo CE. I'm very sorry if anyone ever tries to tell me otherwise. That is very clearly, not. Okay, maybe not from CE, but it's inspired. They've essentially remade CE's graphics from the ground up in Unreal, and it looks absolutely stunning. The Master Chief's armor looks absolutely beautiful. The Magnum and the detail on it looks incredible. The Elite and the Energy Sword and the armor looks absolutely wonderful. It just looks incredibly visually stunning. Now again, as I said previously, I don't think an engine change and a studio rebrand is going to be enough to obviously, make the next Halo game huge. It's going to take a lot more than just a graphics update and a new studio name, but it does, even I have to admit, it does look absolutely incredible. And it looks absolutely beautiful. So the Foundry demo as well, as you've seen again in the footage playing on screen from this Vidoc and everything, has shown off different environments. You've got waterfalls, you've got mountains. There was obviously the flood stuff as well. Very cool to see that, because obviously we haven't seen the flood for quite a while now in a mainline Halo game. So very cool to see that as well. Just very kind of nostalgic. A lot of it is very much classic Halo, and it's a nice feeling. It's nice. It just feels familiar, and it's just really, really nice. So moving on then, we've got to just talk about, there is some details as well about the platforms that the new Halo games will be coming to, so we'll jump into that now. So Microsoft have said that it is still very early days for any new Halo projects, and so we don't really know what consoles, what platforms, what anything really they're targeting for future Halo titles. They haven't said a lot. We can presume that it's going to come out on Xbox because, again, flagship title, or well, used to be flagship title of Xbox, so we can pretty much safely assume that it's going to be on there. Chances are it will come out on PC, maybe not immediately, because I know some games obviously do release and then they don't come out immediately on PC. For example, I think GTA 6 isn't releasing in day one on PC. That's going to be later. I highly doubt personally that it's going to go to the Switch. I very likely cannot see that happening. I don't even know if the Switch could run Unreal Engine 5. And of course there's that rumour swirling around then that there could be some form of Halo CE remaster going to PlayStation 5. Would that happen? Maybe. Now, I'm not really the biggest fan of console exclusives, but even I can't realistically see that happening. If it did, it could be the first step in a direction where console exclusives become a thing of the past, and that would be incredible, but only time will realistically tell, because again, Microsoft and Halo Studios are being very, very, very just not mysterious. They're not telling us anything. We're not getting any kind of important information, essentially. And that about wraps it up, really. There probably is some information as well, and there's a lot of stuff that I've read, and I'm not going to bother going into a lot of it, about, Microsoft's vision and what, it's people of the team. Again, I'm going to link everything, all the information that I've got from a site, so that's fine. So I can link that to you guys in the description if you want to actually go and read more about some of the stuff I'm not going to talk about. But that's it from me. A lot of this stuff, a lot of people are already going to have said, and I know people are going to have watched it already on other channels, but I just wanted to cover it on mine as well, just because I do love Halo, and it's just nice to actually get some news. Again, no game's imminent in the future, so nothing for me to realistically review, but, it's nice to actually, see that they're doing something with it. So we've got a new engine we're going to be running with, a studio rebrand, we've seen a little bit of what they can do, again, on screen. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And we'll just have to wait and see. So I'll leave you with that, guys. The Vidoc's going to play now without me speaking. It's just going to be audio in. Leave a like, subscribe, much love, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
Chris Matthews, take one. Mark.
This is Casey Wu, take one. Mark.
I was told that I can just be my authentic self, Chris.
For 6 years, I don't want to be in front of a camera.
There's so much to do and so much fun to be had when you play Halo that I feel like I never run out of things to do.
I love intricate stories that take place across lots of different worlds, have lots of different meaningful characters.
What made Halo successful at the beginning? What is the legacy of Halo, and what's the soul that we want to bring forward, and what's the craft of making Halo games, and how do we set our studio up best to go deliver on that?
We knew we had to make a change in order to take us into the future.
When I first heard about Halo moving to Unreal Engine, my first thought was, this is going to be a really hard secret to keep.
I think fans are going to be excited about the future of Halo because of the possibilities that are afforded us by using Unreal.
Before, we really had to split our focus in thinking about building an engine, supporting it, being really kind of a tech company and a studio at the same time. Since we've made the change to shift to UE, we can bring Halo forward in ways that people have never seen before while still being true to what Halo is.
The Foundry project was an effort to show ourselves how far we can push things using Unreal 5.
Our new studio art director, Chris, came to me and said, hey, I have this crazy idea.
He said, hey, there's this thing called Project Foundry that I want to do. Let's make it happen.
Foundry specifically is based around the same concept of the Foundry in Halo lore. It's the place where Halo rings are born. It's not a game, it's a research project for our studio so we can prepare ourselves for the next steps of making Halo games.
The original Halo franchise was a graphics showcase. It was best in class. That's what Halo was when it first was released, and that's what Halo needs to be again.
So once Project Foundry had been approved, we took the entire creative team and we ideated on 3 locations, something old, something new, and something really alien.
We had the Pacific Northwest, which is sort of traditional Halo biome.
We were trying to shove as much foliage in there as humanly possible to make it really feel like you're on a hike in the, Cascades.
The Coldlands, which was the second biome that we took on, it was more of a technical showcase where we could play with shaders, we could play with deformable landscapes and terrains. Unreal affords us more opportunity than we've ever had in the past.
On the surface, it might just look all like snow, but how many layers of things combine to really give that winter look?
And then our third biome was the Blightlands, which is any land that's been completely taken over by the flood.
I wanted to give our team the opportunity to really express an alien world, a really alien world, taking something way further than they may have actually done in previous Halo games.
What's impressed me about watching the Halo team work in Unreal is how beautiful everything looks, how incredible the environments look. I don't think we've seen anything quite like it in Unreal Engine before.
Fortunately, we have a studio that's really passionate about Halo, about the look and the feel, and I think there's a lot of hunger to really collaborate, to move forward together.
Foundry was an initiative that touched on every part of the creative process, everything from concept art, VFX, characters, vehicles, and weapons to make the future games of Halo.
Creating an asset, taking this design, now we can really dig into material foundations. What is it actually made of? How is it physically accurate to the world? Now we get to take all the wonderful legacy assets that we have, bring them to life, and bring them to today's standards.
We are really excited to be not just working on multiple projects, but also expanding our studio.
As a lifelong Halo player, I think the game's only going to get better when we get those new, unique perspectives and people bring in their expertise and passion for the Halo franchise.
We are looking for new talent as the projects that we're working on kind of get further and further into their development cycles.
And it is great to be part of a team that's growing because you can kind of see that force multiplied as people come in and take on challenges and you can do more.
Imagine a place where you have the commitment that this is what we want to do, Halo games, and create those experiences. And you can express your talent, your creativity, and your professional ambitions. in that place.
We're looking for designers, we're looking for artists, we're looking for engineers.
It feels like a new beginning for the studio in a lot of ways, and I think that's pretty rare.
And I think we arrived now at a point where you see the beginnings of people to start to believe in the process.
There's so much momentum that we have right now, and focus and clarity on not just what we're building, but why we're building and kind of this next phase of Halo.
The worlds that we're building, the stories that we're going after.
The potential at Halo right now is huge.
Halo Infinite was the last remnants of how we made Halo games in the past. That was our recipe. And what we're doing right now, we're changing that recipe.